anyways. Half the time you don't get the stun, so it's like, and Ice Vortex only scales by 5% slow and resistance reduction, so it's like Chilling Touch. I think 2 points early is certainly valuable and worth getting.
Bane picked up by Infamous. Very safe pickup again. Very strong safe lane coming up from then a DK for Rex.
You know, when you have a Bane and a Sand King there, where's the Rubik? Because he has been the...
It's like two like kind of weak supports that can get ran at in the laning phase that don't really contribute too much. Because later on, sure, your heroes get very strong, but laning phase, Rubik Disruptor, I mean, if they aggro that, you have like, you can just get ran over.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are really good spells to steal.
There are.
Definitely right on that, but yeah, it could be very exploitable, especially against Bane. Bane can fight that so much better. But late game, Rubik would be fantastic.
Yeah, late game. I mean, now it
look at that.
I suppose, but they could do even like Nightmare into Burrow Strike, Rocket Barrage or something would be more than enough.
I mean, and they're into a Disruptor too, so it's like positioning yourself as aggro is always nice for that here. So it's tiny support.
Like it. And it looks like Infamous were expecting that with the Nature's Prophet ban. Depending on where they were expecting that Nature's Prophet to go, I guess. But tiny support. What do you make of? Is this a fighting lineup? Is this RRQ, you know, going for the battles?
I'm not sure if I am sold on tiny support right now, but I definitely like the heroes they have. Like, they've got the laning advantage with Razor. Yep. They've got great gank in the late game, or even mid game with like Dragonite Stun, Tiny Combo, Toss Back, Glimpse Potential, Bat Rider Lasso. It's like so many different ways for them to start a fight. I like the Bat here.
So Gyro mid, and then Lifestealer versus the Bat.
Lifestealer versus Razor isn't great either, but against Bat, yeah, it's good. I think I like the, what was the draft? Who's the team on the bottom there?
That was RRQ.
I think I like the RRQ draft a little better.
Yeah?
It kind of feels like they have lane solutions. Like it.
What do they need
I like
to
their
succeed?
lane solutions better.
Like one thing to look forward to for people, the Indonesian Dota 2 fans.
Get a reasonable time on for BKB on the Razor. I think it's pretty important. That way Ravage stops becoming an issue. Limit the amount of times that there's like infest bombs. Do they even have like an infest target? Just tied, right? Like
they don't really have a vehicle for it. They're Sand-King, I guess. Like,
the Sand-King's pretty good.
Sand-King's pretty decent, yeah. I think it's a lot about lane matchups actually for this one for me. I think if like Bat Riders versus Lifestealer, that's gonna be great for Infamous, but I think in vice versa, if there's like a Razor versus Lifestealer, it's gonna be tough. So I think for me, like RRQ have more options to switch their lanes up, which will be advantageous for them. Alright,
let's see if we're gonna have some musical lanes here in game number 1 of this best of 3 series. It is over to OD Pixel and God for the game.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Indeed, day 2 here at GESC. We're ready to go with the Dota 2. We have Infamous versus RRQ. I'm OD Pixel. I'm here with Gods. We've just seen the 2 lineups. What do we reckon, Gods? We've seen this finisher from Infamous. They're drafting this Lifestealer. Obviously, as the panel said, very good against the Baron lane, but you are picking a Lifestealer into a game where there's a Razor.
They're definitely hoping he does not have to verse the Razor, I can tell you that. Yeah, it's kind of what we saw a bit out of a few of the teams. The mid-copter. Seen the hero actually do pretty well in a lot of matchups, so we'll see how Pepita does there for Infamous. Definitely, I feel like Infamous come into this as slight favorites, but definitely RRQ playing in home soil, perhaps with a bit more motivation to, you know, get to the main event, do well for the fans here. So we'll see if they can cause an upset.
And sure, this side RRQ, they had a bit of a rough showing yesterday, but the early game was good. There's a lot of very, very high individual talent, and as we mentioned, of course, before, Rusman is, or at least yesterday, was ranked 2 on the SEA leaderboard, so very, very highly individually skilled players. It's just a question of if they can bring it all together as a unit, as much as Infamous have been able to, with Infamous, of course, just having that little bit more experience on previous sort of international lands.
Yeah, I think that's actually a big deal. If you look at these South American teams, as much as they haven't done great on these big lands, the DPC, they've had experience, and a team like RRQ has had next to none. They've haven't even had much experience with local lands, at least under this current roster. They've kind of been around the Indonesian scene for a while with some of their with a completely different lineup, but that lineup's kind of moved on. One of the players is now their coach, so I think there will be a kind of certain aspect of inexperience and nerves sinking in, particularly when we get to the main event and everyone's playing there.
I'll be very interested to see how Yabi does do this game on the mid lane. He, for me at least yesterday, was one of the players that did struggle the most on his Queen of Pain, where he, again, had a great laning stage, but really fell off as soon as those movements came in. Obviously with the DK, it's going to be played quite a little bit different. He can sort of stick to that lane, just get the pressure on his own, and the rotations aren't as crucial on this hero, so we'll see how he plays his matchup.
Good news for Infamous, they've got the Lifestealer versus the Bat. Here comes the first TP, Tiny TPing in top. So we'll see if Bat dodges this lane or where he looks to go for the RRQ side, but I don't know if there's going to make any big adjustments here. I think Tiny's just up here to support and harass Lifestealer.
Mid lane, there's a bit of harass going on. Top lane, Schofield, he's going to make the jump in. They do have the 3-man against the 2-man. R7 getting focused, pops the Fairy Fire. Is it enough to keep him alive? No, it isn't. One more touch. Minos will find first blood for Infamous. As this top lane, as we did worry with that matchup being favourable to Infamous having the Lifestealer back. It's going to be a tricky one, even with the Tiny going up there.
Yeah, level 1 Open Wounds, perhaps caught him a bit by surprise. Does use up half his mana pool, but hey, you're against the Bat, you're getting stick charges, your mana pool, you're going to go again. Yeah.
Look at this straight away.
Having that point, Creep's got it.
Having that point really paying off.
Yeah.
2 kills off the back of getting that Open Wounds as his first skill. So smart plays there from Infamous as they start to make quite a bit of an impact in that top lane. Other lanes though, for RRQ, both cores, they get in the first few waves under their belt nice and easily, as we can see both Razor and DK, the top CSs at the moment.
Yeah, Razor, if he's not leading the CS and winning his lane CS, you've done something wrong. That's the goal of this hero every single time. Whether you get the matchup you want or not, you've got to win your lane. Yeah,
especially, I mean, it's sure for him, Razor's not too fussed that he didn't get the Lifestealer, because he's got a type. This is still a hero that is going to get multiple opportunities to just build up the static link and have that easy right click.
Yeah, and that's why he's not TPing top as well. You're going to lose the game of musical chairs if you try and do that. You TP top while Lifestealer TP's bottom, and both your TPs go on cooldown, so there's no real point trying to swap your lanes up. Your supports can move, which is what RRQ tried to do with the Tiny going top. Unfortunately, 3v2, they're still going to lose that lane. And it's a really tough lane, it feels, because the Magic Stick against the Batrider gives these heroes infinite mana. Like the Sand King uses 2 Burrow Strikes, and he's got 8 charges, he has a couple more Burrow Strikes. It's just unlimited Burrow Strikes as needed. Bit of a mishap there, they slept and the Sand King was completely out of position to get that.
But I mean, as you say, because of this top situation, this is sort of the problem for RRQ. They can't really keep the pressure up to a stage that the supports of Infamous are forced to stay here. There is that freedom for them to roam because of how strong the Lifestealer Bat matchup is.
Yeah. Interesting they just left Lifestealer alone, but doesn't seem to bother him. He's getting aggressive, healing up. Not going to get a kill here, but that does help get him back to near full HP.
I'm interested to see the impact that Zephyr can have on this Tiny. It's going to be very hard. I mean, as we say, it is still looking towards top. He's going to make an attempt. Rage is back up. He's fine.
And again, this is sick charges is in the early game is about being able to spam your spells. The heal is nice, it's not the big deal, but he's just used Open Wounds like 4 times in this lane. He's used 2 or 3 rages, and it's only possible because of sick charges. And he's able to just use an Open Wounds rage to heal up off of a hero or creeps, even without going for a kill because of the stick charges.
Now we'll be forced back to base there, this time around by Zephyr's harassment on Tiny. So he'll have to back off, and of course, as we said, even though we need to get involved in those first 2 kills, the farm is certainly not there for Minos and that top laners. He's only on 8 for 1. Bottom lane, bit of a go being made by Infamous. They have the sleep set up, they surround Rusman. They do have Schofield with that Burrow Strike, locking him down. He's pretty tanky on Rusman, but he should still fall as they'll chase him, cut him down. And now Achel a little deep and all alone. They'll be ready to chase down a second Infamous. Stinger looking for the blocks. Kinetic Field's down, but it doesn't matter. Schofield, he's already in there with the Burrow Strike. Achel may be able to bring down Schofield with him. Thunderstrike is upon him. It's not going to be quite enough though. Stick charges are there. Schofield will survive. Infamous get the double kill down bottom. Rusman be able to cancel the Sal. Schofield, it's the bounty rune, and he'll also get himself out of there with the Burrow Strike back to safety. Infamous still yet to give up a kill.
Schofield just getting everything done. Bounty runes, kills for his team. This support duo is everywhere they need to be. They secure top lane, get lifesteal a good start. Now he's been left alone, so he's not actually farming too well, but they're getting kills. And I imagine we'll see Infamous look to prioritize continuing to play aggressive. 2 kills top, now 2 kills bottom. Let's get kills mid, they say. One here that is not really being pressured yet, the Dragon Knight.
Same time, Zephyr also there on his Tiny, ready to respond to any sort of play. Axel trying to make something happen with the sleep. Zephyr's going to be there to provide some sort of backup if required, but Schofield, he'll turn his attention away from Yabi, look towards this man instead, but Zephyr himself falling low. They do manage to get the kill though, he gets the job done.
Yeah. Underestimate Tiny's damage up, but he probably should not have died there on the gyrocopter.
Now Schofield, they do have a glimpse if they can get in range, but can't quite do so. Schofield will be fine, gets himself at a distance. Infamous, they have Axel being surrounded. There's the avalanche, back into the fight though. Pepitas there with the rocket barrage and the homing missile going straight for Zephyr. The flank attack will finish off the disruptor. Get themselves 1 kill, they'll turn for a second. Yabi falling low, turns for the refire. That damage reduction certainly helping. Will it be enough? It will. Yabi gets down a long-range tree toss, finishes off Schofield. As RRQ will end up getting a couple of kills overall in that middle lane as they really start to open things up. And this is the thing, both the Razor and the DK, they're farming an absolute treat at this stage of the game.
Yeah, this is good. This is kind of the fast-paced Dota we're hoping for from this series.
Yeah.
Infamous really just running at RRQ, going for gank after gank. Meanwhile, RRQ playing the slow-paced game, like kind of what we see out of a team like EG, where it's like we don't care if we're getting kills because we're farming and winning the lane.
Yes.
Look at the CS, top 2, both on the RRQ side, and the Batrider is pretty much equal with the lifesteal.
Down bottom, they're just looking for another pickup and they'll get it. They're really starting to get the ball rolling. You know, Tiny, he sort of struggled to have much of an impact in terms of getting kills up top. As we said, though, we did manage to limit the farm bit of the lifesteal, but these movements to mid and bottom, they're paying off. Same time, Infamous, they'll try for a play onto Yabi. Straight around, surrounding him with 3. He's pretty beefy. Turns with the refire won't be enough. The rocket barrage magic damage is there from Pepita, as Infamous will finally be able to get rid of that pesky Dragon Knight Yabi, who was having, we say, a nice bit of free farm in that middle lane, but he's knocked out for a bit. And all during this time, Minos on that lifestealer up top, he's catching back up with the CS. It's getting to the point now where level 6, even less that this bat can do in terms of harassing
as a Ravage at bottom, if they want to go for it.
See, they've got Rusman surrounded. Schofield, Stinger, and now Axel as well. They won't need to commit it. They managed to save it, make sure that Stinger doesn't have to put the point in unnecessarily.
Another retaliation. Here comes RRQ. They're like, all right, let's fight. You guys want to keep running at us? We'll play that game. This is just unrelenting from both teams.
Getting pretty chaotic, Yabi. The Elder Dragon form would like to put some pressure onto the tower. I mean, plus with Zephyr still here, he'd ideally want to find second kill. Axel's got to be careful. Pretty low on the Bane. Schofield, he's back into the game. TP's down towards the bottom. Yeah, Zephyr and Yavi, they have to be careful here, as Infamous do have 4 heroes. Schofield looking to close the gap.
They're very strong with the gyro down here. Defensive avalanche, he's just trying to get out, and
time wasted. Yep. For Infamous, as RRQ are able to hold back and make sure that 4-man play does not achieve
back
anything.
On mid, gyro. Oh, he TP'd mid and got immediately glimpsed back to, well, the middle of nowhere, so he's got to walk. Disruptor just having alone time, looking to get that level 6 in mid, so while all that's going on, RRQ are getting closer to it.
Down bottom, Rusman getting a bit of a chase onto Stinger. He's getting a hefty bit of right click stolen, but Stinger just a little too speedy, will be able to get himself underneath the tower and back to safety. He's going to force the Titan to head back to base though. He's out of mana, down to half health, so more space for Rusman to go to work on this bottom lane. The tier 1 tower, Infamous' side is falling low. 9 minutes in, RRQ able to overrun Infamous in this bottom lane. As we said as well, the mid lane looking good for them. The big sort of shining hope and glory for Infamous is this top lane lifestealer. So it's all going to be about these infest movements that the panel sort of talked about. They do have the Sanking, of course, to get him around, but he isn't going to be anywhere too close to that Blink Dagger for quite some time. Mid lane, that Disruptor, as you mentioned earlier, picking up the levels, does finally get punished. But Peter's able to move in with the cooldown, just run down the Disruptor, get him out of the lane.
After a while, you'll see some supports like, all right, empty lane, I'm going to go get experience. But the longer you stay, the more danger in, and eventually teams will be like, all right, we just got to kill this guy. It's not a big kill, but it's a kill you just take. as much as Lifesteal's doing well, the Batrider is doing equally well. I think that's the big takeaway for me with this top lane. It's not a matchup Lifestealer has won particularly, even with the early help and the couple of kills he got. Batrider getting almost just as much farm. He got this bottle build, getting every bounty rune, farming up jungle camps as well, so...
Rushman, a little deep hit. Wraparound will come through. He does have backup. Ravage comes out onto 3. They're looking towards that Razor. Can they get him? They can't. The toss back from Zephyr manages to peel away the tide from the Razor. He's still trying with the chase down. Will find the finishing touch with the Gush. Infamous do get the kill. Schofield comes through with the bow strike onto 2. They'll pop the Disruptor. Rotation from Pepita. The cooldown comes in. Not going to quite connect onto Zephyr. But the Caustic Finale slow, as well as the homing missile inbound, will hold down the Tiny. They'll take a third. Infamous reacting very nicely to RRQ's deep aggression, and they take all 3 kills.
Yeah, doing that with just 3 heroes is a bit risky. Yeah, there's a tier 2 tower you're right next to and a shrine, so there's 2 places that Infamous can TP into to get behind you and in front of you and take that fight. And well, with Ravage, with cooldown, they're way stronger in a team fight scenario. RRQ have perhaps Static Storm, that's a different case scenario, or if they have the Dragon Knight there, but taking what was effectively a 3v4, even a 3v5 if Lifestealer wanted to TP in, not that he was needed, was a bit too ballsy from the Indonesian squad.
Now it's a Myers from Minos with his farm that he's been finding up top. He'll have the armlet done any second now.
There's a Tiny in the neighborhood, but I feel like Zephyr's done pretty well in this 4th position. Tiny moved a lot. He's been in all 4 of RRQ's kills, so he's definitely been the common denominator as far as them getting aggressive. It's really going to come down to Batrider. He's had this free lane, he has not been rotating, he's not going for a drum build. He needs to get this blink up ASAP and start smoking up with his team and finding kills.
Just got to be careful here. Yep, managed to find the chase down with the open wounds. Will go straight for the TP, but Axel's there. Pops the Fiend's Grip, they hold the bat down, and they knock back that timing that R7 was going for. The blink's going to have to wait a little longer.
This armlet's pretty scary. Lifesteal's getting very strong, and Disrupted, despite getting some alone time mid, still not level 6, and we're 12 minutes in, so a lot harder for RRQ to look towards that team fight at this point. Even Dragon Knight, going for an armlet build, this is one of those builds which you feel very strong, like when you get this. It feels good as a Dragon Knight, but your team does lack initiation.
And out top, Axel getting run down by Minos. As Lifestealer trying to get a little out of control, and RRQ, they've still got a couple of heroes up here. They have to be careful because Infamous, they've got the favorable numbers. Zephyr getting chased down. He's trying to play around with him, but the missile's inbound. He is fairly speedy.
Good guy, Bane, not KFC.
Here we go. Quite enough damage on the gyro. Dog will be sealed. Deal 5. Stinger comes in with the anchor smash. Bottom lane as well. Russman getting found out by a quick rotation from Pepita. Schofield's there to set it up by the time for him to get in. Now it's 16-4. Things starting to quite quickly fall apart after what looked to be a relatively good laning stage for RRQ.
Yeah, they're farming alright. Even though they were down on kills, they were the ones who were slightly ahead, but these are the kills that do matter. They're kills that turn into towers as Lifesteal gets top tower, and Infamous just punishing RRQ, farming way too deep. Bottom lane, twice now the Razor's been at the tier 2 tower with not enough help. Even when the time he had 2 heroes smoking down, that's still not enough. You can't be at a tier 2 enemy tower at 9-10 minutes of the game when your opponents can TP in 4 or 5 heroes and kill who is effectively the most farmed hero on the map, the Razor, on the RRQ side.
Mid lane, Infamous. Not the most expected Lifestealer gang. He's easy inside the Bane. Could certainly catch them off. Maybe RRQ see him and think it's going to be a quick and easy pick-off. But as it is, RRQ are elsewhere on the map. They are all 5 in their jungle, playing a little more grouped together in sort of preparation for these sort of plays from Infamous.
The Radiant Vision right now sees so much.
But Achel, he's not with the team. Did sort of split apart. The other 4 up towards top. Disruptor caught out again. And as you've been saying, this is more time where he's not getting that experience. This Static Storm that is pretty crucial against especially sort of the Lifestealer and the Bane and sort of reactions and being able to sort of hold back Minos from getting that rage off. It's not going to be there for a few more minutes at this rate.
That will have the blink, but ideally it is a lasso into a Static Storm if you need. He's one or 2 creeps away, so he should be able to get it before anything too crazy happens. But here we go. Infamous want more, and they should be able to find more.
There we go, Russman goes for the link, but it's quickly broken. Set up from Axel on the side as he has to sleep on the Tiny, but they want to look for bigger targets. They want that carry, they want that Razor. Homing Missile will connect, they do have a Ravage. Flame Break comes through from R7, knocking them back temporarily. And it will be enough to hold back the side of Infamous, or maybe not. Schofield, he jumps in, they put the cooldown, Ravage comes out onto 2. They've found the bat, they'll look towards the Tiny, and that was not the bat Blink Dagger reveal that RRQ hoped to pull off as they lose 2. Pepita continues to rack up in kills. It's now Infamous sitting at a 5k lead. Mid lane, Schofield jumps forward, has the setup into the Fiend's grip. They're going to lose the DK as well. It's getting pretty out of hand. 20-4, 15 minutes in. Infamous, they're just finding every single kill that they look for at this stage.
Yeah, it's playing Run at You Dota. It was kind of comical because they all went top and the Tiny got slept and they could have gone for him, but all 4 heroes except for Bane ran past the Tiny chasing the Razor, who they couldn't really catch up to, but Tiny got left alone.
I mean, he had Lasso. Was it not worth lassoing for that kill?
It's probably worth lassoing. You take what you can get at this point.
I mean, I guess he didn't want it. He didn't want it.
That perhaps he thought a teammate could get
he read the patch notes, right? He knows. He's like, well, so their team net worth is high, but it's just a Bane, alright?
Yeah.
So, you know, he did his homework. R7, he's like, patch notes, team net worth, sure they got advantage, but it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, that Bane, you know, he's got no farm.
Smart play. He's gonna have to look elsewhere with this lasso. Still wants to try and find something with it, R7.
Yep. Invised up mid. Gyro kill would be nice, but Infamous is just 5-manning. They want to keep fighting. They've got Blink on Sanking, so if he's anywhere nearby, he can Blink Fire instantly. Gyro's getting pretty tanky and scary. He's almost got BKB. Not easy for RRQ to find much right now, and they desperately need BKBs of their own because they're up against Sanking, Gyro, and Tide. Big ultimates, a lot of magic damage. Something that Razor just feels very far away from and has an SMY queued up, which it's one of those things, if you go BKB, it feels like you're just going to lose.
Yeah.
And Infamous, they're all TPing in and...
They found Risman again, down in this same sort of area each and every time where RRQ try and push out. Infamous are always ready to respond. Pepita now on a monster kill streak. This Gyro and Lifestealer duo core is getting bigger and bigger for Infamous.
Yeah, hats off to Infamous. Great job of punishing Russman over and over again for farming too deep, but really Russman. 1 and 5, his Razor had the easy free lane, he farmed like crazy and he's just died way too many times.
Top lane, Minnow, he's just mounted up underneath the nose of both Yabi and Zephyr. Goes in onto the Tiny, takes the kill, and he's into the creep for the free ride.
He wants the Disruptor, he's running in.
I'm going to get it as well.
Doesn't have rage for a second.
Okay, now he's got it, and Schofield comes in. He's not only going to get the Disruptor, he's going to get the DK as well. Fiend's Grip comes through. Yabi doing his best with the armlet toggling.
Thanking him on Epicenter.
I mean, look at these toggles.
They're going to have to work for it a bit more.
Oh. It's
flashy, but...
Okay. There we go. It was a good attempt. Yeah. Good attempt from Yabi, but he will still fall. 24-4. Oh, not again.
It's a Ravage. I would use Ravage for this. This guy's like 1-5. He's their carry. You're like, if you kill him again, you're feeling good, but couldn't quite get close enough for it.
A little too speedy, Russman. Those drums. The BKB is now done for Pepita's Gyro.
Yeah, Infamous going to be feeling good. These are the games where, as a team, it's a big confidence builder because you're not just winning off like strategy. You're playing this aggressive, constantly killing them. You're working well as a team. Everything is just meshing well. This is a good confidence boosting game for Infamous. And every player is getting involved. It's not like one player is like 1v5ing. It's like they've got someone just carrying them. Every core is doing a lot. Every support is making moves and rotations. Everyone's getting involved in the action.
So Roshan going down in favor of Infamous, and RRQ not really in the neighborhood to contest. Even if they were with Ravage up for Stinger, a very tricky situation for themselves to sort of enter into, so they have to let it go. And as we'll grab the Aegis, gold lead increases for Infamous, continuously so. An 11k advantage at the moment.
Tiny Blink. This Blink's always feels like the first time Blink on bat just feels bad when you're not getting kills. Like he could have just had a drums and been tankier and fought more and been a much more early game presence. It feels like the laning setup needed to be adjusted by RRQ. Leaving the bat 1v1 against Lifestealer, like, yeah, great, Batrider had a kind of even lane, but end of the day, he didn't use that farm to achieve anything. He was just tied to the top lane, didn't actually make any plays, didn't create any space, which is often what like a typical Batrider offlaner does, is he really pressures the supports, keeps them busy. The fact Infamous could just send a hero to 1v1 him meant they have a big advantage right now.
Smoke up from RRQ, looking to try and take an engagement. It is into that Aegis. Bit of a risky play, but obviously at this state of the game, you sort of have to
They see the Aegis bottom, yeah, they're hoping someone comes out, but Infamous 2 steps ahead.
And they're gonna go. Infamous will jump in with the Epi. Gets the lockdown off the DK, can they get the turnaround? They jump on the Belassa, but straight away the Fiend troops there onto the back. We cancelled by the Glimpse back, but already they're losing heroes on RRQ. They've lost the Bat, they've lost the DK. Schofield might even be able to set up for more as he has the blink forward. He's got eyes onto Achel on the Burrow strike. Is anyone else going to come in and help him finish this? Achel looking there, give this one a bit of a run away. The right clicks and the caustic adding up. Burrow strike's going to be back up in a second if needed, but he's going to go and try for the Sandstorm finisher. Jumps forward, a couple more touches, and Achel will fall. RRQ just not being able to get the break that they look for with those sort of smokes. Did seem sort of a last hurrah of an attempt there, and it did not work out.
Yeah, just that kind of last hurrah. You've got this double blink sub. That's meant to be your timing. These are not farming items. These are fighting pickoff items, and the fact you lose that fight after the last one with the blink dagger on the bat. Now with double blinks, things don't go well. Nothing is going the way of RRQ. It feels like this point is going to take some big Infamous over-aggression throws effectively to turn this one and raise that Frostman.
I'll jump in. I look to go on to Minos, but immediately with Rage, he turns and he bites down. The open wound just ripped through the Tiny. Rusman's TP'd into the Shrine, but there's 4 heroes here.
Yep.
And at the same time, mid, Static Storm's down, but I don't think this line team seems to care. He just manned it up, GG is called. RRQ will tap out at game 1, as this one, a little bit of a stomp in favor from Infamous, as they played it perfectly. And it was a very sort of similar situation as we saw to the game the other day, and it was what we worried about.